To understand racism in America, both North and South, we need to take it back to the time of enslavement. The roots of Southern hardship were deeply entrenched in the economic dependence on massive cotton production that relied on enslaved labor. By 1860, 4 million people were enslaved, and a rigid social hierarchy ensured wealth was concentrated among plantation owners. This firstly gave people this idea of white supremacy, but it also meant an over-reliance on slavery. This made up a big part of the political conflict of the Civil War, which was fought primarily over the future of this system. The South, fearing for their economy, went as far as to split from the North to create the Confederacy to fight for enslavement to remain. Once the South had lost the Civil War, slavery was abolished by President Abraham Lincoln. The Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment promised freedom, yet the reality was harsh. Without land or money, many black Americans were forced into sharecropping, which became a system of economic re-enslavement through debt cycles. The failure of federal support and white landowners' refusal to sell land left freedmen vulnerable, keeping this idea of white supremacy alive. American government is interesting, in that a state government can generally create its own laws, and in the case of the South, these laws were very restrictive and discriminatory to black people. There were further amendments to the Constitution that gave voting rights to black people, but this was not easy. By the 1950s, discrimination in the South persisted through the separate but equal reality upheld by Plessy v. Ferguson in 1896. Jim Crow laws mandated segregated and inferior facilities in which white and black people had to use separate schools, restaurants, transport, and more. There were also organizations like the KKK that used violence and intimidation to maintain white supremacy. However, groups like the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People and Congress of Racial Equality began fighting back, using legal challenges and nonviolent direct action to dismantle segregation. Black people could vote, but were often threatened with violence, struggled to complete the literacy tests, or would be threatened with dismissal from their jobs. Racism manifested differently across the United States. In the South, discrimination was de jure, or legalized, through Jim Crow laws and voter disenfranchisement. In the North, discrimination was de facto, or by practice. This societal norm resulted in housing segregation, job discrimination, and systemic bias, creating a geographic divide in American racism.